Hello. We are in 5.2 now, which means that you have finished all of 5.1 and you have gotten your teacher stamp in that first box. Hopefully that you got that done before you get here. So let's talk about 5.2. There are a few different things that you need to know to introduce into this lesson of rates and ratios. Okay, first is an equivalent ratio. Also, before we begin, this is video notes, right? So make sure that you get a note page or your composition book, and you will be taking notes. So an equivalent ratio is a ratio that names the same comparison of another ratio. Okay, so what do I mean by that? Well, we're going to use this example of the cups of flour and the cups of sugar again. So for every 1 cup of flour, you need 2 cups of sugar. So we are going to double the recipe, and we're going to show how we can get 2 equivalent ratios. So for every 1 cup of flour, you get 2 cups of sugar. Okay, that is our ratio. Now, if we double the recipe, that means we just need to multiply this by 2. Okay? And what that's going to look like, okay, is we're going to multiply it the bottom and the top like that. So if we multiply 1 flour, that's going to be 2 cups of flour. And then 4 cups sugar. So now what we have here is an equivalent ratio of 1/2 equals 2/4. That is an example of equivalent ratios. They are naming the same comparison, even though the ratios are like different, they're equivalent to each other because they have the same comparison. Okay. Let's move on over to here now. Okay, what you do to the numerator, okay, just like I showed before, what you do to the numerator, okay, you must do to the denominator. So what you do to the numerator, you must do to the denominator. So if we look at this problem right here, we have 3/5 equals 9 over blank. So how did we get from the 3 to the 9? Well, we multiplied that 3 times 3, right? And what we do to the numerator, we have to do to the denominator to find an equivalent fraction. So then what you're going to do is you're just going to multiply 3 to the bottom as well. So 5 times 3 is 15. So now 3/5 and 9/15 are equivalent ratios. Okay, because they're showing the same comparison, they're equivalent fractions. Here we go. Okay. Go down to this one. Okay, so let's use this example of flour and sugar. We're going to find some equivalent ratios for the flour and sugar. So for this first table, we have flour, 1 cup of flour to 2 cups of sugar. So then if we go here, and this is +1, and we know that for 2 batches of flour, we need 2 batches of sugar. So what we did here is we add 2, right? But we're just going to double the original. So then 2 plus 2 is 4. Okay, so now we have, let's imagine this as a fraction. We have 2/4 equals 6 over blank. Because this is what this is right here, right? When we look at those two, that's what we're looking at here, okay? Oh, and also, you do not have to, I would say just draw the first table. Take notes on just the first table. This one right here, okay? Don't worry about this one yet. You don't have to draw that one, just the first one. So then what we did to the 2 is we times 3. So now we also have to times 3. And 4 times 3 is 12. So here it's going to be 12. And let's do the same thing for the 8. So we have 6, 12 equals 8. Okay. Well, this one's kind of like, let's see. Let's do, because 6 times, we're going to have to use a fraction to figure this out. So let's use, because if all these are equivalent fractions, I'm going to be smart about this. Instead of 6/12, we're going to use another fraction from the table, okay? We are going to use, we're going to use 1/2. Because we know that if 1/2 is equivalent to 6/12, then it will be equivalent. We can use it in this place, okay? So then 1 times 8 equals 8. Well, then we have to multiply the bottom by 8 too, which is 16. So we have 8/16 right there. Those are equivalent fractions, okay? All right. For this sake, we are going to just pay attention to that first table. I'm not going to do the second table, and you don't have to write it down. So let's move on to the next part. Okay. Now our next definition is rate. A rate is a type of ratio, okay? A rate is a ratio that compares two quantities that have different units. The units represent what we are comparing, the item, the type of thing that we are comparing. So this would be like miles and hours, okay, flour and sugar, okay. We can use like an item and money, okay. So just like this example that I'm going to show you here, it's 2 boxes of cereal cost $4. So what is the ratio of boxes to cost? Now we're going to put the first one first. So 2 boxes for $4. So 2 boxes for $4. This is an example of a rate because we have boxes and dollars. Okay? This is a unit. This is a unit. So we're comparing 2 different units to each other in a ratio form. Okay? Okay. Now let's move on to this next one of there's a different type of rate called a unit rate. Let me get into okay, sorry, I had to open the right window here. It's a different file. Okay, so our unit rate, a unit rate is a rate in which the second unit, excuse me, sorry, not unit, the second quantity in the comparison . is 1 unit? Is 1 unit. Okay. So a key word to figuring out if it is a unit rate is if the key word is like it's per unit, per one, per hour, per day, per whatever. It's a unit rate because we have two quantities, right? Our rate is two different quantities, two different things. Okay? Money and cereal, okay, miles and hours, okay? And a unit rate is when one of those things is just one value, just one. And so this example is if, from the previous slide, if 2 boxes of cereal cost $4, what is the cost of 1 box? So before, right, our rate would be, okay, 2 boxes for $4. Okay. And then our unit rate would be $4 per every 1 box. Okay. $4 per every 1 box. So our unit rate is 1 box. Okay. And so our unit we're trying to find. Oh, sorry. Oh, mistake. You probably saw it already. Our unit rate is not $4 per every box because 2 boxes cost $4. So how much would it be per every 1 box? It would be $2. $2. My mistake. So it'd be $2 per every 1 box. So this right here would be the unit we're looking for. We're looking for how much money per 1 box. Okay? All right, those are your introductory notes into this lesson. So go ahead and go on to the next assignment, the next lesson in Canvas, and go ahead and get started in your tasks.